Arrma Outcast 8S. We're doing the final thoughts review. For you guys who are new to the channel, we've done a speed rip on asphalt tarmac. We've done a speed rip on dirt, grass area. We've done jumps on our normal ramp. We've done jumps on the T-bone airtime ramp. And now we're here to do the final thoughts of the Arrma Outcast 8S. For you guys who are new to the channel, please go out and check out those videos. I'll have links to them in the description below, but I won't be going through an unboxing or an overview of this truck because that's already been done already, guys. So this is typically how I do my videos in the format. So typically in our final thoughts video, we'll go over electronics, drivetrain, handling and suspension, durability, workability, support, and the opinionated parts of the discussion. Is it worth it? And would I buy it again? Electronics. For this, we'll talk on the transmitter and receiver. This is now the transmitter that you get with some of the higher end Arrma lineup. The Outcast 8S was the second RC to actually get the Spectrum DX3 controller as an RTR. The first one was the Creighton 1.5. So this is a new controller for the Arrma Outcast 8S. I mean, it feels good in the hands, has a foam wheel. We talk more about this controller in the video for this RC during the unboxing. Check it out during that time. But in regards to performance, it did not cut out once. It performed well. It was very responsive. It does have some minor telemetry features. We did not use it because I do not run Spectrum batteries, so I did not utilize the telemetry features that it does offer on this, but I think it's a great feature to have on this RC. As for the limit controls, 50, 75, and 100 in regards to the throttle, once again, we did not use that on this truck. 100% all the time was used on this. Outside of that, thought it performed well, thought it feels good in the hand. It's much better than some of the other past controllers that they've provided with their RTR kits. I definitely will say that, had no issues with this at all. In regards to the receiver on this, did not cut out once from the transmitter, thought it performed well. As for the 160 amp Spectrum Firma ESC on there, as I said before, guys, I didn't really take advantage of the smart technologies that are offered on this truck when it comes to the transmitter, receiver, and as for the ESC as well. Did not have an issue with heat, guys. Heat on this performed well. I will say in regards to the ESC, we did change up and dial up some things on here. So I did change the punch setting on this truck and I did change the brake setting on this. Thought it was a little low, upped it a little bit, and the performance did change. You'll notice that towards the final videos of this truck, that the performance was a little bit different. Didn't change the overall speed of the truck, but did change how the truck jumped off the line and how it performed and how it broke. As for the 1250 kV motor that's in this truck, I thought it performed well. And as I said before, it did not have any heat issues whatsoever on this. As we start to go up in pinion sizes on this, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, we'll see how it performs afterwards, but I did not have an issue with heat on this motor. The Spectrum S905 metal gear servo just performed well, guys. I did not have an issue. I thought it moved these meaty tires very well. I just think it's an adequate servo for this truck, and it's going to be able to handle very well for you. From what I saw, it just moved this truck very well, guys. I did not have an issue with the S905. Drivetrain. In regards to drivetrain on this, guys, we're talking about the front drive shafts, the rear drive shafts. We're talking about the center drive shaft on this. We're talking about the differentials, front differential, center differential, and rear differential on this truck. We had no issues with the gears, with the transmission on this vehicle whatsoever. Did not bend any drive shafts, front, rear, center. Bent no drive shafts whatsoever. So the flex on this is perfect, guys. I did not run into any of this. I did get some air up on this truck, and we had no issues in regards to drive shafts bending on this. I've done landings with the rear down. I've done landings with the front down, and you could probably see that from the body and the hood on this truck that it did take some blows. and it just held up well, guys. The drivetrain on this, I've had no issues with gears, grinding, anything needing to be shimmed, nothing whatsoever. The gears on this truck, the drivetrain on this truck held up well. Handling and suspension. Here is probably where I'll stick on this one for a little bit, and not so much on how it performed, because I thought the handling and suspension of how it performs, the shocks on this are very plush. I thought it handled very well out of the box, how it's set up. But where I wanted to touch on in regards to handling and suspension, those of you that are familiar with Arrmas, you do know that the front is a pillow ball suspension, and this is no different. But what I do find is that, you know, after a few runs, you'll see this, and this is because there's a pillow ball that's actually loose on here. So you just have to go in, and after a couple of runs, or maybe after every run, just check them, and you may need to tighten them after a couple of runs. And that's what I found. You know, I didn't have to tighten these after all the runs that I've ran on this, but a couple of those runs were rips. And after the bashes, probably taking this up for 2 or 3 times doing the bashes on this truck, now I'll say I'll have to adjust the pillow ball suspensions on here. But outside of that, it held up well, guys. The other thing that you need to remember is in regards to the links on the rear for the camber, I did have some landings where it actually bent in a little bit on the right side of the truck. That you'll have to adjust. I noticed that seems to be a little bit of a problem with it, because I don't have that going on this side, but I definitely have it going on this side where it bent in. It did not change the performance of the truck whatsoever. It still handles the same. I did not notice any difference with it bent in just a little bit on that side, but I do notice it when you look at the truck. This happened right after probably the first time I've taken it off the ramps, that I noticed that it actually has that bent going in, and I've ran it ever since with that. So go back and check the videos. You guys can see there's no difference when you see the truck running. It looks the same, it performs the same, but for aesthetics, I will be making some adjustments to that link in the rear. And in regards to the tires, guys, these tires hook up well. I mean, these are probably the best tires that Arrma has in regards to the backflips. Put them on a truck this size, just magnified how good these tires actually are. I mean, I had no issues with them. I will say that I did pre-drill these tires, so that did help out. If there's any ballooning that some of you other guys are getting, that did help out for me. I've never ran, the minute I got this truck, I drilled holes in the tires. It's something that I do with a lot of my Arrmas. So for me, I did not notice any ballooning whatsoever with them. For you guys that are getting any issues like that, I'll probably suggest doing the same thing. Just drilling some holes into the tires, a minimum of 2, a maximum of 4 because of the size of these tires. What I did is I staggered. I did not drill them down the center of the tire. I did stagger the drill. So there's one drill on one side here, and then on the other side here, it's on the other side of the seam. So just so that you guys know what to do when you're drilling them out. You guys can see the running videos that I have with this truck. It stays planted, guys. This thing does not roll. The suspension just slides and moves with this truck. It just performs well. And you guys can see the videos and see what it does there. Durability. And, you know, as I said, this probably goes back to the pillow balls and the rear link. Yes, the rear link will bend in if you land awkwardly on the rear. Yes, the pillow balls will come loose out over time and you will need to adjust them. But outside of that, guys, I had no issues with this truck. This truck is still performing in the same manner that it performed when I first took it out of the box. I've had no breakages, nothing on this truck where I have to start tearing things down and doing some serious work on this truck. It has performed and handled well. It has managed a lot of the bangs and drops and everything else that I've been doing on this truck, and it has handled well. I've had no problems with motor mount shifting or anything else happening with this truck. It has just performed well, guys. I will say that the body is probably the one thing that has taken probably the most beatings on this. My rear landings has bent the rear part of the body, and the front of this body has taken a considerable amount of damage. But for the most part, the body, everything has held up well on this truck, guys. I mean, I really do enjoy what they've done to consistently manage the durability of these bigger trucks. Workability. Well, I don't have much on this one, guys. As I said, I have not done any work whatsoever on this truck. In the coming months, when I start to do some maintenance on it, I'll come back and I'll touch on the workability if that does occur. But for the most part, guys, I've had no issues with this truck to really touch on the workability portion of this discussion. Support. During the timing of this truck, I have not had to reach out to Horizon Hobby. I know that there are some issues at the timing of this video with Horizon Hobby and some of their response times. Mainly that's because they've also gone through a significant amount of transformations on their side, and they're still growing. They're still going through those growing pains of the transformation on their side. So for support, guys, I really have not had any reason to reach out to Horizon Hobby or Arrma on this. I've seen online with Tower Hobbies, with Horizon Hobbies, that there is a significant amount of parts available for this. I will say that I've been to my hobby shop, and in that part, you know, they are now slowly starting to ramp up in regards to inventory on the Arrma trucks. In regards to parts, not so much. But as I said, the online market, there is a ton of online parts available for this truck. Is it worth it? Is the Arrma Outcast 8S worth your 900 bucks? And I have to say yes, guys. For everything that you're getting in this truck, the way this truck performs, I honestly feel and honestly have to say that this truck is worth it. I have found that this is the Arrma extra large scale that I wanted. When they first released the Arrma Creighton, I was not too enthused by that truck. I just felt that, you know, they would have came out with a short wheelbase monster truck, more what the community was looking for, and this is the truck I was looking for, guys. This is exactly what I was expecting when they released an extra large scale monster truck. The only problem that I have with this truck is on the box they call it a stunt truck. The fact that when you take this truck out of the box, there is no stunt whatsoever in this truck. It is a very durable monster truck. It is a very fun monster truck, but if you compare this to taking out the Arrma Outcast 4S, the Arrma Outcast 6S, this and those trucks are completely different. You will need to definitely make some changes to this truck for it to perform like a stunt truck, similar to the Arrma Outcast 4S and 6S, but that is my only issue, guys. And that's a personal thing for me. As I said, this is the opinionated part of the discussion. But my parts is that I wish if they're going to put stunt on the box, that it performs like a stunt truck out of the box. That's my only issue with it. But, you know, this has been a great truck for me. And this rolls us into would I buy this again? And I have to say, guys, yes. And they hit everything that I was looking for out of the park. I mean, everything I wanted, a monster truck that flies well, a monster truck that rips well, has sufficient enough power, does 40 miles per hour out of the box. Everything that I'm looking for out of a truck this size, it gave it to me. The only thing that I say is what they have on the box, stunt, but I wasn't really looking for this to be a stunt truck. I was looking for this just to be an extra large scale monster truck. That's it. Stunt truck, that's a different story. I've said what I had to say in reference to that part, but this is exactly what I was looking for. Now, the one thing that I will say, and this is kind of like me just crying out to Arrma right now, the next truck, Arrma, I'd really like to see a 1/6 scale Big Rock crew cab or a Granite. That's it. 1/6 scale, guys. I'm asking for it. I'm asking for a 1/6 scale Arrma Granite or Arrma Big Rock crew cab. If you guys can do that, that would be it. I know a lot of guys like to say, is this an X-Max killer? I don't even think this is compared to an X-Max. I would not even compare this to an X-Max. I think if you're looking for a truck that's just gonna pop wheelies and do it on command, I think the X-Max is gonna be what you want. But if you just want a solid monster truck that can fly, that can rip, that can do everything that you want to do and hold up to all the poundings that you're going to be able to put out to it, this is the truck you're going to want, guys. I mean, the X-Max, I love it to death. I love my X-Max. But I would not compare that to this. Nor would I say the reverse. that I would say that, hey, this is an X-Max killer. It's not. And is the X-Max an Outcast killer? It's not. But I will say that if Arrma ever got it together and hearing the community and came out with either a Big Rock Crew Cab 1/6 scale or granite, it's on, Traxxas. It's definitely on at that point. I think right now, this is a truck in its own scale. If anything it kills, I think this truck kills a Creighton. Because I would buy this over a Creighton any day, all day. There's no way, if I was sitting there and I was looking for an extra large monster truck, and I saw this, and I saw the Creighton, would I ever buy a Creighton over this? This, for me, is the truck. I've suggested to people, several people, that have asked me, what should I get? A Creighton 8S or Outcast 8S? And I've pointed this one every time, all day, every day. And it's just how this truck has performed for me and how I've enjoyed this truck so much is why I will constantly suggest to people that they buy the Arrma Outcast 8S. But that's it, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram for our latest post to the channel. This is Ready Set RC signing out. Thanks again, guys.